If plane movies are your thing, this is the best plane movie you will ever watch in your life. They didn't even have to try. They titled it Plane. That's literally how good this movie is. The movie takes place with Gerard Butler. I love him and everything that he plays in. He is the pilot. The person you're seeing on the screen right now, that's the prisoner. He's gonna matter later. So they are literally flying, having a great flight, and they hit a storm. Lightning, I believe, strikes, hits the wing, something happens, and basically they start going down. Typical plane crash, right? But not though. You know a movie is good when the dialogue, the way that the chaos is happening, like when you get so wrapped into it to where you are actually stressed out yourself, like that's how you know that they wrote it good and have good casting. What I loved the most was the mentorship of the pilot, Gerard Butler, and the co-pilot. You can tell that Gerard Butler this was probably his first plane crash, but he was still equipped and he was that guy. Like he was able to handle it. The co-pilot was like trying to lock in, trying to be there, and the plane is going down. Everything is just crazy. They end up crashing on this random island. I think one of them little islands in like Peru or something like that. Come to find out, there was no government there. And they realized we are not safe because there's no police, there's no, organization. So they end up, or Gerard Butler, the pilot, he ends up actually having to go on a mission, on a journey, and everything around them is jungle. He ends up going on a journey because he needs to find a phone in order to communicate what happened because they had lost all power in the plane. So what's funny is he ends up taking the prisoner with him. And I think he took the prisoner with him because, for two reasons. I think he was thinking, I'm not about to leave this prisoner who has actually unalived somebody before with all my passengers, one. Two is he was probably thinking, since he's unalived somebody in his life, he might be the perfect person to come on this trip with me because I don't know what I'm about to experience when I get out there. So they're going on this journey and the prisoner ends up ditching him. So the pilot ends up, finding a phone, but somebody ends up hitting him over the head and they get into a fight, one of the bad guys from the land, and they fight. He, wins, and basically the prisoner ends up coming to meet back up with him again. So they're now on their journey again. They end up going, trying to get back to the passengers, and come to find out the passengers are actually the bad guys had already figured out that the plane had landed, and the bad guys had already tried to get the passengers on the plane to take them as hostages. And it was funny the way the scene played out because when everybody, heard the cars coming, they were like, oh my God, like we're saved. And they thought maybe it was the pilot, and it was like, no, it wasn't. Like you could tell they was from America, just thinking everything is safe. They end up getting taken, put on the bus or the truck, whatever it was, and they got taken. The pilot and the prisoner actually saw this happen, so they were just like, shoot, we need to now, it turns into this rescue mission, a second rescue mission now. They end up following them, trying to figure out how are we gonna get them. They end up fighting their way through in order to actually break them out of the prison that they were in. But even before that though, they were, the bad guys were actually doing video recordings to try to, create those hostage type videos so they can get money. They end up breaking them out, putting them on this bus, getting them back to the plane, but then the bad guys found out that they did this and was like, okay, y'all played us, you distracted us, and you took our hostages. So now they're pissed. By this time though, that the passengers are going back to the actual plane, there's this rescue team that came, but they weren't able to get them out of there. It was just this temporary rescue team that was in the area. So then what happens is everybody's back at the plane at this point, and the pilot says, the only way out of here, because by the time that the real rescue people come, it's gonna be like 24 hours. They were not gonna survive. So he said, the only way to get out of here is to get back on that airplane. Everybody lost their mind. They were like, are you kidding me? Like everybody was terrified, scared. And he said something that was so, like, it hit me emotionally. It pulled some emotional strings, I ain't gonna lie. He was like, if I didn't think that I could get y'all out of here safely, I would not put y'all back on that plane. And it was one of those moments where it was like, what do you do? Do you stay and die because the bad guys are actually actively trying to take you as hostages and will take your life like that? Or do you trust getting on an airplane that just crashed, landed, but you got to get back on it again knowing that it came down for a reason? Like, I was so stressed out. So everyone's like, all right, like they get back on the plane. Well, at this time, the bad guys are now shooting. It's this whole war going on around the plane, but they're like, we don't got no choice. Like, so he's literally like, all right, he starts turning the plane, starting it up, and he's like, we're about to get out of here. People try to get on, the people that are actively shooting, they get on the plane like last minute, shooting from the plane, trying to get out of there, because he just needed to get them to the nearest island, away from these people. But he needed to get them to the nearest island where there's actually a government and they're safe, because where they were was just this little island that didn't have that. The plane is moving, they're trying to go, and literally, I mean, bullets are flying everywhere, and it's crazy because Taktu, I believe it was, Taktu, he pulls out like this grenade launcher, or whatever you call it, and he literally is about to blow the plane up. And Gerard Butler, the pilot, he's driving the plane, and then he literally, as he's going up, he knocks him with the wheel, and they get out of there. So you're thinking, oh my God, that was stressful, but thank God. And then it just turns into a whole nother movie. They're good for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the plane starts tripping again, as expected, and it needs to go down again. It starts going down. And so this is a second plane crash movie. So now they're trying, everyone's traumatized, going through another plane crash again, twice in one day. And they're trying to land, flying over water first, and then they get to the other island, and the plane is going crazy. The plane is trying to land, and he actually crash lands that plane. When that plane hit the ground and they knew they were safe, everybody was just so thankful and grateful that not only did he land the plane from way up in the air the first time, he fought for them and kept them safe, broke them out of that little prison after being held hostage, and then put them back on a plane, had the whole plan to do that, got them out of there, and then landed it again. They were beyond thankful. It was an honor, is what one of the co-pilots said. He said it was an honor to fly with you. And one of the women even got super emotional just thanking him and hugged him, because she was just like, this is the craziest day of my life. You know, it's like everybody was traumatized, but everybody was just thankful that they were safe. That was how the movie ended. If you like a good plane movie, this is the one that you need to watch. It is on Netflix. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, just from this review alone, but also once you watch it, come back to this video, put your thoughts in the comments, because I need to know. I need to know if you know any plane movie better than this one. If you do, please comment it below, because I have not seen a better plane movie. They did an amazing, phenomenal job on this movie, and I can literally, and probably will, watch it again. This is Rated R for review, and thanks for watching.
Rated R for reviews, it's the place you need. Stay in the loop, plant that subscription seed. Every week is a blast, join the hype, don't delay. With Rated R for reviews, your worries drift away.